This is Cliff. It looks like Afroman has won his trial. I've been a longtime fan of Afroman, as far as I can remember. Probably middle school was the first time I've heard Because I Got High. And yeah, at that point, I probably thought it was flying in an airplane, but hey, things change. Let's take a look at Afroman getting cross-examined so we can kind of see what was going on in the trial and why the jury picked the verdict that they did. So here we go.
You had a safe in your home, correct?
2 of them.
2 safes. Did the sheriffs look into those safes, to your knowledge?
Yes, they
The
did.
deputies?
Yes.
And how did they get the combination?
I gave it to my ex-wife so the sheriffs wouldn't pull my safe off the floor, take it to the station and put something in it and try to say that whatever they put in my safe was mine. So I went ahead and gave my ex-wife, who I didn't want to give my combination to, it was just safer. I went ahead and gave her my combination so they could open up the safe and realize that they just vandalized somebody that don't even have nothing in the safe.
And do you know what was in those safes?
It was absolutely nothing in the safes.
Don't you keep jewelry in those safes?
No.
Can you tell me that in your deposition, that you keep jewelry in those safes?
I do.
Was anything missing from the safes when you got home after the search?
If you'd like to contribute to the channel and help us make more content like this, click the like button.
I didn't put nothing in the safes.
Was anything missing from the safes when you got home?
Nothing was in them, so nothing was missing from the safe.
You talked to Randy Walters on the phone before you got home that evening during the search, or right afterwards, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
He told you that they were taking some money and some vape pens and a small amount of marijuana. He told you that.
Yes, sir.
Investigation by the Claremont County Sheriff's Office into the discrepancy about the cash that was missing from your home, correct? You knew there was an investigation.
Yeah, I knew the sheriffs was investigating themselves.
Oh, that's how you saw it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you ever ask for a report so you could see how bad this investigation of themselves really was?
Yes, I was trying to get involved any way I can. The investigation was going on without any of my participation.
Did you ask for a copy of the report?
I did. I asked for everything. I was trying to be involved. I didn't.
So you've seen the report?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I just saw it a few minutes ago.
Well, you had an attorney when you got the cash returned, correct?
At the station?
Yes.
I had attorney. Yeah, my attorney was present.
Did your attorney ask for a copy of this report?
It wasn't in it. When I got my cash back from the station, it wasn't an investigation until we realized money was missing.
Well, did you contact your attorney and say, hey, get me a copy of that report?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. While Mr. Klingler wants to talk about his client's attorney-client privilege and maybe waive it, Mr. Foreman does have attorney-client privilege with his attorney at that time. And we are going to assert that privilege because it's a privilege he has of right.
And so far, he hasn't asked anything privileged. So I appreciate the sensitivity, overrule the objection. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Your testimony is you never saw a copy of Detective Robinson's report until today.
Yes, sir.
And that's because you didn't want to see a copy of the
I
investigation.
did want to see it. You don't know what I want. I did want to see it.
You did.
I wanted everything that had something to do with my money coming.
And that was 3.5 years ago, correct? And you haven't seen a copy of that report that you wanted to see until this afternoon. Is that right?
That's right. I never had my money taken by cops. I didn't know how this goes. I don't know about reports. All I know is live on Fox 19 News, the lady admits that her department is short $400 of my money. That's all I know. I don't know how to investigate police officers taking money.
That's all you know, and that's all you know today, isn't it? That's the whole basis of your claim that your money was stolen, is that the amount of money that was in the bags is different from the amount of money that was written on the bag.
Yeah, my whole thing is they never should have raided me in the first place.
That's your whole thing.
That's my whole thing.
That's the point,
That's my whole
isn't
thing.
it?
If they never would have showed up, there would be no songs about them. I wouldn't know who they are. Their faces would not be on my video cameras. None of this, we wouldn't be in this room right now if they hadn't raided my house and didn't press no charges, didn't even know what they was doing. This whole thing is their fault, and they're suing me for their mistake.
And so you don't really care if they stole your money or not. You're just mad
I
about
do
what
care
they
about
did.
if they stole one.
But
Police officers shouldn't be stealing the civilians' money. So I do care. All of it is an outrage. This whole thing is an outrage.
You have no evidence that they took your money except for the amount on the bag isn't the same as the
How
amount.
about the lady admitting that she took?
Did you answer my?
She admitted that she took my money on live Fox 19 News. Go argue with the film clip.
Yeah.
Go argue with her admitting that she took my money.
Nobody admitted that they took your money.
Well, whatever. Go look at her admitting that the bag is short because it stayed open all weekend long or 2 weeks after Brian and Officer Cooley just left it and just mishandled it and didn't do it right.
Just so we're honest with the jury here, Mr. Foreman, nobody admitted that they took your money, did they?
They admitted it was short.
Yes. Nobody admitted that they took your money. Correct?
It was short. She admitted, she said that it was short. And usually it's 10, 5, $2 missing. How does $400 even come up missing? Odd.
You posted videos about Brian Newland doing hard drugs and snitching on his friend, and you posted those based on rumors, didn't you? We can look at your deposition, but before you argue with me, but isn't that a fact that you made those allegations based on rumors you said you heard?
It's a fact. William Newland is a convicted pedophile, and Brian Newland is his brother. After I zeroed in on Brian, I asked about him. Come to find out, he's a large statutory rapist that has sex with all kind of underage girls. He buys them beers and gets them drunk and all that. That's probably the reason he had to leave the Adams County Sheriff Department, because he beats up his wife and he messed with underage girls, and he had to get out of town and go get a job in Northwood.
All right. You don't want to answer my question.
I do. Please ask another one.
Well, let me ask this one again so I can get an answer. Do you remember in your deposition when I asked you, you have no reason to think these rumors about Brian Newland are true, do you? And you said, well, it's more entertaining if it's true and I can make some money. Remember that?
No, I don't. That's a however long that deposition was. You can read the deposition and it tells you what I said.
Do we have a copy, another copy of that? Because I'll show it to you and I can show you my copy. Refresh your recollection.
You're going to refresh his recollection.
It's
Tree. Then you can
thank you, Judge. If I can get it working here.
Your Honor, I would object to using the screen to refresh his recollection. That's publishing it to the jury. If he wants to refresh his recollection, he can show him it and then ask him a question, much how we would do in criminal law with the police report. If an officer didn't remember, we wouldn't show the report. We would show it to the officer. He would refresh his memory by reading it, and then we'd re-ask the question.
do it that way. Just make sure you think he reads it right. I'm just trying to get through the verbiage. Just make sure you think he reads it right. Otherwise, I have to wrestle with you about whether he read it right.
Sure.
So just read it. And then if we want to move it as an exhibit, you can do that.
Remember your deposition being taken, Mr. Foreman, in your attorney's office on September 3rd, 2024.
I remember the deposition.
And that deposition was taken in DJ Osborne's office?
Yes, sir.
That's the same office that you used to film that video that we saw last night with the actor playing Lieutenant Lisa Phillips. And that actor was sitting in the same chair that Lisa Phillips sat in during her deposition, wasn't she?
Yeah, the actor played Lisa because I wouldn't have known her if she hadn't came to my house and cut off my camera.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That's the office we're talking about, and that's the office where I took your deposition, right?
Yes, sir.
And in that deposition, I'm referring to page 84 of the deposition. I had asked you
I
about,
object, he's testifying.
No, he's using the deposition to refresh his memory. He's doing it right, so sit down, please. Go ahead.
did I ask you this question and did you give me these answers, Mr. Foreman? Question, would it be fair to say these are rumors? Answer, you know, Stephanie said it, and you know, some other people that don't remember, you know, I'd be in a hurry in Walmart or something. They shake my hand. Yeah, Brian used to do this, used to do that. Then something, I didn't know him, but this is what I've heard. Question, you don't have any particular reason to think that it's true or not true, right? Answer, well, it's more entertaining if it is true, and I could probably make some money and capitalize on it if it's true.
What are the line numbers?
Starting with line 7 and ending with line 21.
All right.
Did I ask you those questions and you give me those answers?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But
But that's my question.
I've always
Thank you.
put Brian Newland next to his brother. So that's
Now,
my basis, and I've always
We noticed that.
yeah.
And
yeah,
your
so-
attorney's going to be able to ask you whatever questions he wants. Right now, I'd like you to focus on my questions, Mr. Foreman. You have no evidence that Brian Newland ever molested little boys, do you?
If you look at the picture, he's holding the little boy butt. It's too much for me. So if you just use your eyeballs, and then his brother's a convicted pedophile.
That's your evidence for posting that
Well,
pedophile stuff
hey, you know,
about
I'm just
little
trying to
boys.
figure out. I'm trying to figure out what kind of guy is kicking on my door. What kind of guy is walking around my house reading my bank statements? It's a dude. It's a dude that's possibly a pedophile, got a convicted pedophile brother, deputized by the sheriff, walking around, possibly stealing my money. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on as I zoom in with my cameras. That's not the type of guy I don't think should be on the police force.
I'm going to refer you again to your deposition. If you don't trust my reading of it, I'm happy to give it to you, Mr. Foreman. But on page 98 of your deposition on that same day, beginning at 9/11, did I ask you this question and did you give me this answer? And again, the only evidence, you don't have any evidence that Brian Newland is a pedophile or plays with little boys. Answer, no, sir. Did I ask you that question? Did you give me that answer?
I don't remember.
What are the line numbers?
Beginning with line 11, ending with line 14 on page 98. You have no evidence that Lisa Phillips stole your money, do you?
I know if she hadn't raided my house, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Nor a lawsuit or nothing. They never should have been at my house.
Since you're not going to answer my question, I'm going to go back to your deposition again, Mr. Foreman, page 102.
Your Honor, if I may, can I just enter a continuing objection so I don't have to object every time he does the deposition?
No, it's too important, so please be specific. Thank you.
So I would enter a notation of objection at this point. He is now testifying for the witness. He is no longer refreshing his recollection.
I'll be sensitive to that, so you can rephrase, I'll sustain that. You made the conclusion you didn't have memory, so you've got to go back and fix that.
All right, Judge, I will. Thank you. Do you remember telling me in your deposition, Mr. Foreman, that you don't have any evidence that Lisa Phillips stole your money?
Yeah, I she cut off the cameras, but I didn't know who took them. I didn't know who took them. So, all the officers was a suspect in the first at first, because I didn't know where. After the deposition, I realized that Brian Newland was in charge of the money, and I knew where to focus everything. But at first, all the cops was a suspect, especially after they cut off my cameras, and I couldn't see what they were doing.
All right. Well, so you don't remember? Is that what you're telling me?
I remember telling you that Lisa, probably didn't take my money,
Okay.
but I just didn't know. I just knew it was missing, and they cut off my cameras. So all of them were suspects
So-
until I figured it out.
So until you figured it out.
Until everybody figured it out, until it was solved of where the missing money was.
All right. So just to clear this up and move on, you admit that you don't have any evidence that Lisa Phillips stole your money.
No. But I know if she wasn't there in the first place, we wouldn't be having this conversation or be here.
And is it true that one of your big motivation really in making all of these posts is to make money?
To pay for the damage that they brought to my house under the circumstance that they shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
Okay. So the answer to my question is yes, your motivation was to make money.
To pay for the damages that they brought to my house under the circumstances that they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Have you made enough yet to make up for it?
Not really. You know.
How much have you made on it?
I don't know exactly, but it wasn't hardly $24,000.
$24,000.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
You're still making money on today, right? With the new posts and advertisements and things.
It's
again?
publicity.
You're still selling merchandise, aren't you?
No, publicity. Just me. Just everybody. You know, thanks to them bringing publicity to this, it's just you know, an opportunity to run numbers up and be an entertainer.
And the more lies, outrageous lies you tell about them, the more money you can make, right?
Fact, they never should have came to my house in the first place. Fact, if they hadn't have came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fact. All of this is their fault. And they have the audacity to sue me. These people and you are the predators and the victim at the same time.
So what they did, searching your house, gave you the right to do everything you
Under the circumstance that I got freedom of speech, after they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, then try to play the victim and sue them.
You were at Lisa Phillips's deposition, correct?
Yes, sir.
In your lawyer's office.
Yes, sir.
Same office where you filmed part of that video last Friday.
Yes, sir.
And you saw how upset she was when she was answering your lawyer's questions about how this had affected her, right?
Yes, yes,
And you saw your attorney say, do we need to take a break?
yes,
And you saw her say, no, let's go on and get this over with.
yes, sir.
You saw all that.
Yes.
You knew she was upset.
Just like she knew I was upset when she was standing in front of my kids with an AR-15 with her hand around the trigger ready to shoot me. Just like she knew I was upset when she cut my cameras. But I'm not a person, she is. So I'm sorry for being a victim. Let's talk about the predators.
Okay. So you saw all that. You saw how upset she was. You heard the testimony about her children. You heard the testimony at the depositions about Randy Newland's daughter who came home upset. You heard all that, but you're still posting stuff about
Yeah,
it.
because I understand it was Randy's fault and all of their fault for coming in my house in the first place. So if they hadn't came to my house, their children wouldn't be saying nothing. None of this would be going home if they did their research and did things right. So all of this is their fault. And now they want to sue me for their mistake.
Is there anything that could change your mind about what you're doing to these deputies?
Is there anything that can change my mind about the fact that they shouldn't have been at my house in the first place? Is there anything that can change my mind about how my money shouldn't have been touched in the first place? No.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to continue, I'm sorry, Mr. Osborne. Do you want to continue the direct examination of your client now?
Your Honor, I was going to actually ask for a sidebar so we can talk about that.
Okay, so let's just talk about it.
Okay, so I was actually going to not do cross with Mr. Foreman at this time. I was going to hold off until our
I can see Mr. Foreman again
and goes into trial, wins his case, does a great job. If you're into this kind of content, make sure to subscribe.